Hi guys, this video we're having a look at the Neca 25th anniversary Dark Horse Comics Predator, and this figure is one that I've got to be honest with you, quite excited about. I don't really like the figures that deviate from the films, like a few comic book ones. I don't like the Kenner ones, blah 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 blah. But this one, when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, definitely getting this guy. Purely because this was one of the first Predator comics that I ever, well, it was the first Predator comic I ever read. It got me into my love of comics as an adult, I suppose. Always loved my Batmans through all my life, to be honest. Really, obviously, when I was a child, and the Marvels and all that. And then this, I was given a copy of this from a friend as a, I don't know, probably 17, 18, and made me realise, hold on a minute, I love this. You know, this carries on the story of film and all that through comic book, and made me, to be honest, get into comic books, I suppose, as an adult, I suppose, really. So this is the cover from the Dark Horse Comics American comic, and when we were in England, or what we had was this. I did buy the comic, you know, the standard A4 size that we have in England, and then they brought it out as a graphic novel, and as you can see, or you might be able to see, that picture is the picture on the inside of our comic there. I must admit, I did love this comic, brilliant comic, and you know, I was quite ignorant to how stories were, you know, the films were taken seriously into the comic book world, and how comics carried on the stories. Obviously, after reading this, I then read Aliens, Earth War, you know, and obviously got into my Alien comics as well, Grendel and all that lot. But anyway, that's another thing. But for Dark Horse, sorry, for Neca to do this Dark Horse anniversary figure, really happy with that. And I know they've obviously done their Bad Blood and all this, you know, other comic book figures, but to do this way, I absolutely love. So of course, right, we've got the box. Ages 17 and up, Dark Horse Comics, blah blah blah, Choke & Hazard. Includes exclusive reprint, Predator comic book number 1 of the original 1989. I don't think it was 89 when I first saw it. It was obviously a few years after 89. On the side, 25th anniversary, Dark Horse Comics, Predator, and just a little bit of that. And again, this side, 25th anniversary, Dark Horse Comics, Predator. On the back, we have other Neca figures, being the Alien and Aliens range, Dallas in his compression suit, Ripley in a jumpsuit, Ripley in a compression suit, Genocide Warrior, red, Lieutenant Alan Ripley, Bishop Queen Attack, and the Genocide Warrior, black, Crack Tusk, Renegade and Scavenge, which I've done a video for that. And obviously, if you want to check out those figures, check out the video. Scar, Celtic, and Chopper, Celtic, Celtic. I still can't decide how that's supposed to be. I've done a video for them, so you know, check out that as well. Obviously, you want to see that. And on the bottom, it's just the usual Predator, and then the gumph on there, who made it, and everything. So that's that. The highlight of this figure is the fact that it's displayed quite like the front of the comic book in there. You can see him, you know, isn't it? You've got no real reason to be taking this out of packet, in all honesty, because, you know, you can see him in all his glory there. The only thing that looks a bit weird is obviously he's got his plasma cannon at the back there, but you might not really notice that too much. And you've got a reproduction of the comic book on the inside cover. So bear me 2 seconds, just going to grab. So you can see you know, what they're trying to do there by recreating the cover of the comic book in packet. So like I say, you've got no real reason to be taken out of packet, in all honesty, because it does look fantastic in packet. And like I said, on the front, you have a reproduction of the comic book, which is here. It's a little copy, and of course the front of the comic there, exactly the same on the back, and a reprint of the comic there. So there you go. You can pause that if you want to read it. Oh, this page. But yeah, that's a nice little touch to do a reproduction of the actual comic book that they're honouring this figure with. And of course, same on the back of the box there. And there's a little picture of the Blade Fighter vehicle and the power loader there, and a little bit about the Predator. I might just read it to you. It says, trophy hunters from another world, hiding in plain sight, drawn to heat and conflict. A historical scourge, lethal spectres, powerful, savage, merciless, utilising their feral instincts and otherworldly technology in the sole pursuit of the most dangerous game, man. Whenever hunting the blazing deserts of the southwest, stalking the claustrophobic woods of the Pine Barrens, or infiltrating a maximum security prison, the predators take no prisoners and leave only death in their grisly wake. But even these bestial killing machines can meet their match when men swallow their fear and channel their own primal rage, and the hunter becomes the hunted. These fantastic omnibus editions collect classic Predator comics in massive value-packed editions, featuring work by top comic creators including Mark Verheiden, Ron Randall, Mark Schultz and Gene Colan. And there's just some info on there on how to collect the omnibuses from Dark Horse Comics, or Dark Horse Books I should say. So that's that. Like I said, that's the Predator itself in its box. Let's have a look at the figure. It looks cool, doesn't he? Actually, that's a bit silly doing that behind there because you can hardly see it. It looks brilliant. Looks a fantastic reproduction of that comic book cover, doesn't it? Got to say, Neca, really impressed with this. Really impressed with all the effort you have gone to create this. There we go. Yay! Well happy with that. Really, 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 really impressed. Okay, it's going to look a little bit out of place with all your other Predators. Probably out of the classic look Predator, it's going to look the one virtually most out of place, in all honesty. The blue video game Predator doesn't look that bad in the collection of all other Predators, in all honesty, because the blues are quite dark and there's quite a lot of black in there as well. This is quite bright blue, in all honesty, compared to the video game Predator, so it does stand out quite a fair bit. As usual, all the same articulation we're used to in this figure. I've stopped going through all that now. I won't go through all that, in all honesty. Just noticing that his right leg seems a lot longer than his left for some reason. Seems to be a bit on the Anyway, I'm not worried about that because I love this figure. So we've got the same sculpt as the classic Predator. We're used to it now. There's nothing new there. Don't need nothing new because obviously the figure or the character in the comic book was based on the original Predator figure or Predator look. We get this fantastic sort of like ritual staff really going on there. Obviously it's exclusive and a new mould purely for this figure. Got a skull at the top here on the end of the staff. There's a bit of fur or some pelt there. A massive spine coming out of this skull. So I'm assuming it's human, but that spine just looks really massive, obviously little bones all the way down it, to be honest. Be careful, because these do come off, or they can come off, and you can realise that you haven't lost them. And I've seen a few people complain about how they've snapped it when they're putting it in his hand, or snapped the actual staff. This area here is apparently quite weak, so just be careful if you're putting it in. I put it in as close as I could to the comic book look, right by the spines coming down there, so I totally avoided this area in all honesty when I put it in. Comes with this removable plasma cannon pack. Like I say, a lot of vibrant blues on there, very, the yellows. The shading is fantastic compared, with the look of the comic book cover. At the back, nothing really going on there, just reds and browns, which is fair enough. You're not looking at that, but of course that could be where, if you look on here, it's all reds and browns at the back here, so there's no problem there. Only little thing I would have liked as a bit of a touch would be if they managed to do a new mould, just to have this bit of material here, just sticking out, just so it was flapping in the wind even. But I dare say, if you want to be that, you could stick a lump of blue tack under there if you want, just to give it that bit more look. But all in all, you don't need to do anything. You don't even, like I say, need to take it out of packet. I was just going to keep it in packet as it was. I managed to get another one on eBay quite cheap, just so I could literally have it stand on the shelf with all the other Predators, because I didn't really want to take this guy out of packet, to be honest. But he's got extendable blades as always. Now the paint on these, because this figure is very stiff to move. I don't know if it's because of the paint or what's going on, but all the joints seem quite hard. I dare say that even if they painted these joints, I know they stand out and look a bit silly, that you can see it there so prominently. It would have been even harder to move, because it all seems quite hard to move, and the blades, that coat of thick grey paint on there makes the blades quite hard to get in and out, and they seem quite brittle, so I'm not too happy about pulling them all the way out, because they feel like they could break any second compared to other Predator figures we've got, which they're quite pliable, to be honest. But all in all, very happy with this figure. Thank you, Neca, for this. Really happy with this. No complaints from me. Be careful and don't do what I did here, is when you move this arm, it happens with a lot of the Predator figures, this little hose pops out, but I'm not too worried about that, because I need to bring the arm quite far down, so if it's going to pop out, I ain't going to worry about that, in all honesty. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like I say, that's the 25th anniversary Dark Horse Comics Predator. Thumbs up from me. I say get it. Like I say, it does look a little bit funny in your collection, because he does stand out, but all in all, fantastic figure, and a big thumbs up for the fans of the original comic books. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Bye bye.